What's good, everybody? All right, day two of the NFL Combine is in the books. It was the opportunity for the cornerbacks, the safeties, and the tight ends to really showcase their skills, potentially improve their draft status. And obviously, one of the positions that I focused on was the cornerback position. It's a need that we need to address going into the 2024 season. Obviously, we have Amik Robertson that is going to hit the free agent market. We don't know if we're going to bring him back. We got Jack Jones on one side and Jacorian Bennett, which was a draft pick last year that there's still a question mark whether or not he's going to be a starter in this league. And so we have to address the cornerback position. That's one of the things that I really focused on today watching the combine. And so I'm going to kind of get into a couple names that really popped out to me, but I'm also going to give you kind of some of the things I'm looking for in the day three of the combine, right? That's going to feature the quarterbacks, the receivers, the running backs, and obviously quarterback is a big concern, but then we also need to address the running back situation. We don't know what's going on with Josh Jacobs. There's a couple things that Tom Telesco has said over the last couple of days that really puts a question mark on whether or not Josh Jacobs is going to come back, and will we be looking at Josh Jacobs' replacement day three of the NFL Combine? And so I want to get into that too. And so before we do get into it, if you could, please like this video, subscribe, turn on those notifications. I'm doing my next giveaway at 2,500 subscribers. All my subscribers will be included in that, and I hope you're one of them. And so let's get into this, right? Day two of the combine, focusing on the cornerbacks position. I was excited, after there was definitely some names on my radar that I was really focused on, but a couple other names popped out to me as I'm watching these guys go through their drills, and it made me go back and look at their film. And they're now kind of on my radar, and it kind of shows me really how deep this cornerback position really is. This cornerback group, we might be able to find some really good corners kind of later in the fourth and fifth, maybe even the sixth rounds. There's actually one player that's considered an undrafted free agent, or projected as an undrafted free agent, that we might be able to get later in the seventh round, because we got 3 seventh-round draft picks. And so I'm going to go into that, and let's start off with kind of the top guys, right? You had Nate Wiggins that just crushed his 40 time. Unfortunately, he got hurt. His first attempt at the 40, I think he had a little bit of a hip flexor situation. Hopefully he's good. It seemed like he was going to be okay. Then you had Quentin Mitchell. Quentin Mitchell really crushed his combine today, running a 4.33 40. He just blew through his 40, which was really impressive to see. And ever since the Senior Bowl, he's really upped his stock, and so he definitely is going to be most likely a day one draft pick. Unfortunately, you had guys like Kool-Aid McKinstry that didn't participate. One guy I really wanted to see, but I knew he wasn't going to participate in today's combine, is TJ Tampa. I'm really impressed by that kid. There's a chance he might drop into the second round, and if he is, and if we have a second round draft pick, definitely somebody I want to take a look at if he does get to the second round. But again, he didn't participate, so hopefully we see him in his pro day. So let's get into some guys that we might see the late second, possibly third, maybe even to the fourth round. One guy is Cam Hart out of Notre Dame. I really liked what I saw out of him today in his combine. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. Again, showed up very well. So I'm really kind of excited to see how Cam Hart plays in this year's draft. You have Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon, another big guy, 6'3", 194 pounds, projected in the third round. I like the way he moved today in today's combine. I'm really impressed by him. And then one of the guys that wasn't necessarily on my radar, I knew about him, but it wasn't on my radar. And as soon as I saw him kind of moving through these drills in today's combine, it made me go back to look at his film. And I'm really impressed with what I see. And again, he's projected as a third rounder. It's Mike Saintstrill out of Michigan. All right. I really like his film. And again, one of the things that I do is I don't take a whole lot of stock in the combine itself, but what I do is I take about 90% of how I evaluate these players is what happens in their game film, what happens between the white lines. What they do on the field is what I want to really judge my opinion on that. But the combine is just kind of an icing on the cake. I look at very small things when it comes to the combine. But when I do see some things, it forces me to kind of go back and look at the film. And that's what I did with Mike Saintstrill. Again, very impressive with his game film. So I'm really excited about him. Another guy that wasn't necessarily on my radar, but again, based on what I saw today, I went back and looked at his film. Max Melton out of Rutgers, 5'11", 185 pounds. He's projected as a third or fourth rounder. I'm excited to see kind of how he progresses. And then a guy that could be a fourth, possibly fifth rounder is Jarvis Brownlee Jr. out of Louisville. I like, tall, 5'11", lengthy corner, very aggressive to the ball. I'm excited to see kind of how he plays out in this draft. So those kind of were my mid-round guys that I'm really focused on. I really liked what I saw about in the combine, in the drills, but I also like to see what I see on their game film. And a couple guys that we might see in the sixth and seventh rounds. One, Elijah Jones out of Boston College, 6'2", 185 pounds, projected as a sixth rounder. I liked his athleticism. I liked the way he kind of got in and out of his breaks today. Pretty fluid athlete at the corner position. Now, another guy that was kind of on my radar, I don't think he showed very well today, but his game film shows very different. And so, if there are GMs or head coaches that are just basically judging him or taking this combine into consideration, they might drop him on their draft board. So we might be able to get him in the sixth. I don't know if he might drop to a seventh. I don't think so, but maybe a sixth rounder we can get him at, and that's Dwight McGlothern out of Arkansas, 6'2", 185 pounds. Again, didn't show as well as I thought he would today. But again, if he drops, I'd love to see us possibly target him in the sixth round, if he gets there. And shoot, if he does drop to the seventh, I'd take him in a heartbeat. And then one guy that I think showed well, and he's projected as an undrafted free agent, is Ryan Watts out of Texas. He's 6'3", 208 pounds. He just looked good. He looked very fluid today. Read the ball, high pointed the ball very well in a couple drills. And so I'm really interested to see kind of how he falls in the draft. And again, we have seventh round draft picks. If he's sitting in that seventh round, we might be able to pick him up. And because if we don't draft him and he just falls to the open market, he's just open for anybody. So we might be able to snag him late in the seventh round with one of our three picks in that seventh. So that kind of sums up kind of my opinion on the cornerback position. Again, guys, I think it's a deep cornerback position, a deep cornerback class. I'm excited to see just kind of how these pieces fall, and I'm excited to see some of these guys in their pro days. All right, because when these pro days come up, you get to see them a little bit more, and I'm going to do a little more research on the film, especially on guys like Max Melton. Again, he wasn't really on my radar, but based on what I saw today in the combine and what I saw in his film, I'm excited to see kind of what he can bring to the table. So, if you guys are enjoying this content so far, please like this video, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Let's kind of get into day three. I'm excited for day three. There's a lot going on. Obviously, we got quarterbacks, right? The top three quarterbacks, they're not going to be throwing. Caleb Williams not throwing. Jaden Daniels not throwing. Drake May not throwing. And so we got Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, and Spencer Rattler. Those are kind of the top four names that are going to be thrown tomorrow. So far, there's been reports that the Raiders have met with all of those quarterbacks. They've done their interviews with them. I've heard a lot of good things about the interviews with Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy. A lot of the NFL insiders that report for the Raiders are saying that they were very impressed with both those quarterbacks. And so we'll kind of see how they throw tomorrow. One of the guys that is really intriguing is Spencer Rattler. I think his draft status, kind of the what people are thinking about Spencer Rattler is really starting to increase. I think they're starting to get a little bit higher on Spencer Rattler than what they were maybe a couple months ago. And so I'm really interested to see kind of how he does tomorrow. Let's take a look at the running backs, right? Again, like I said before, who knows what's going to happen with Josh Jacobs? He might enter free agency. One of the things that Tom Telesco did say just a couple of days ago is that he's not sold on a lead back role. That's one of the things that he said in a press conference to the media, is that he's not sold on a lead back role. Now, does that mean he's going to let Josh Jacobs walk? No, not necessarily. But what that does mean is he might want to bring back Josh Jacobs on a team-friendly type of deal, right? He might want to make sure, hey, I want you back, but you need to come back at a certain price tag, because guess at the end of the day, Tom Telesco might want to go that running back by committee type of approach, and I'm not against it. Okay, so it's not saying that Tom Telesco doesn't want Josh Jacobs, but the numbers might have to fit in order to bring him back. And so with that being said, There's a couple running backs that I love in this draft. Okay, you obviously got your top three. You got your Jonathan Brooks, your Jalen Wright, your Blake Corums. I like out of those three, I like Jaden Wright. Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, 5'11", 210 pounds. I think he's a strong, violent runner. I really like him. Out of those top three, I really like Jalen Wright. And then after that, guys that we can possibly find in the third or fourth round, possibly. Trey Benson out of Florida State, 6'1", 230 pounds. I like his game film. He's a strong runner, big runner. But these are two of my favorite running backs. These are my top two runners that I would love to target in this draft. And I think we can get them kind of more into that fourth round um, type of time frame. Number one, Marshawn Lloyd at USC. 5'9", 215 pounds. I just love his running style. He always makes the first man miss. He's hard to take down. He's very shifty. I love Marshawn Lloyd. I'd love to see him in the silver and black. The next guy that I'm extremely high on, that I'd love to see in the silver and black is Ray Davis out of Kentucky. 5'8", 220 pounds. If you like Blake Corum, I actually think I like Ray Davis more than Blake Corum. That's just my opinion. Ray Davis uh, was an extremely impressive runner. If you go back and look at his game film, and guess what? He did that against a bunch of SEC defenses. Okay. So Ray Davis, I'm extremely excited to see all these guys perform tomorrow. And then some of the guys that I'm looking at for more in like the late rounds, the sixth and seventh rounds, is Cody Schrader out of Mississippi, 5'8", 200 pounds. He played in the Senior Bowl, did a very good job. I'm excited to see him. And then obviously Frank Gore Jr. With him setting a bowl game record with 300 plus, I think it was 326 yards rushing in a bowl game, and just what he brings to the table. Very shifty runner, very hard-nosed runner. I mean, you see him even with his smaller stature, he's running over linebackers left and right. And so, again, one of these sixth, maybe seventh rounders, late round guys, Frank Gore Jr., you really can't pass him up just because of just what he brings to the table. Obviously, the pedigree that he has with his dad, Frank Gore, you can't really pass that up. So, guys, that's kind of my take. I'm excited for day three. I can't wait to see some of the running backs, just kind of see what they bring to the table. And I want to see those quarterbacks throw. Again, I don't put a lot on the combine, but there are things that I watch for that might force me to go look back at game film and see if I either missed something when I took a look at them initially, or there might be someone that wasn't even on my radar, like that Max Milton, the cornerback out of Rutgers, that now I want to go back and look at them and look at the game film. So I appreciate you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the running back situation and about the corners. Who do we want to possibly pick up at the corner position to really help out that cornerback room? So I appreciate you guys. Like this video, subscribe, turn those notifications, and I'll hit you guys with a video after day three of the NFL Combine, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.